Okay, we are here on the SchmearCast. I am joined by recurring guest, legend of the pod, Jesse Aaronson, and first-timer Lauren Brodauf. Lauren, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm
The people
doing
know
fantastic.
Jesse, but who are you?
I'm just a lover of the bear, frankly. Feeling honored to be on the SchmearCast. I mean, the bear, like the Berzatos, like they're my family. I'm so happy to be here and speaking about them.
You kind of subconsciously even perhaps lit the beacon and put on your story that you love the bear. And I said, all right, come on the pod. And you were down for it. What do you love about the bear?
I think it's just a very raw portrayal of like human emotion. As somebody who comes from a big Italian family, I think it's at some points like a little too real, but also like hilarious. And I do love the culinary universe. I've staged before in a restaurant.
Wow.
And
Front of house or back of house?
that would be back of house.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
That's
had
some
no
cred.
idea. No, because I reached out. I said, "Can I stage for you?" I didn't even know it was stage. They said, "Sure." I showed up with my single knife, and they said, "Do this to this piece of meat." And I said, "What does that mean?" And I never got a call back after, but I did spend a night in back of house in a crazy restaurant, so that was cool.
What knife did you show up with? Just out of curiosity. We're
Don't
talking,
even
like,
know. It was from Williams-Sonoma.
Yeah.
It was a nice knife.
You could say
Like-
it didn't
was
cut
it-
it.
Oh, cut that. Let's start the whole fucking thing over.
No,
Cut-
yeah,
cut
it was it was an
Enough.
experience.
When the show came out, season 1, were you just like, whoa, this is electric? Because that's, I think, how Jesse and I felt.
Truly. No, like one of the best seasons of television ever. And then we got
You
followed
believe
with
season 2 is even better than season 1?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
how do you feel about the very controversial season 3?
See, we got nowhere. We got nowhere with season 3. It bored me. There were some like obviously great moments. I loved seeing with Donna and Sugar, or not the scene, the episode.
Ice Chips.
Yes, Ice Chips.
the
I
birth
loved.
episode.
What was the one Ayo
Napkins.
directed? Napkins.
yeah.
Oh,
That
with,
was cool.
loved that one. I mean, yeah, there were like standout episodes, but for the most part, it was just very stagnant to me. And then season 4, we'll get into my thoughts.
Yeah.
on that.
Jesse, you were on this pod a year ago talking about The Bear.
Yeah.
2 episodes covering half of season 3 each.
Right.
Do you remember how you felt about it? How you felt going into season 4?
I remember, what I remember, I didn't revisit our pods from last year, but what I do remember is we were cautiously optimistic through the first half of the season. We were like, okay, it's not the same, but we trust Christopher Storer. We trust him. We trust. And then end of the season, we were like, what the fuck, man?
I think
What'd you do?
we were irate.
We were Sugar and Francie Fack saying, you fucking betrayed us, you piece of shit.
We were pretty
yes.
upset. I think it only came from a place of love because season 2 is so special.
100%.
And the show was elevated to a new plane of existence.
Yeah.
You know, the controversy is that season 3 and season 4 were supposed to be one season, that this
Yeah.
was going to be a 3-season show. FX loved it so much. Now, I'm not putting the blame squarely at FX's feet, but they wanted more of the show and they wanted it expanded. So what should have been one season was turned into 2 seasons. And you could feel it. The plot was extremely thin. And
Yeah.
resolutions you expected took forever to come about. Sometimes they didn't come about.
Yeah.
And the fans seemed to turn on it, not just
Big
us. I mean,
time.
we are fans. We kind of are models of that, but the fans really turned on this. The audience scores were terrible.
Yeah.
There was some Emmy agita as people stopped considering this a comedy and said, how is this a comedy? Nothing's funny. Everything's serious. Hacks upset it at the Emmys last year in Best Comedy.
As they should have. I mean, I significantly laughed
Right.
more at Hacks.
For sure. But
Than
like,
I
does
did.
that mean The Bear was in the wrong category? Does that represent a critical and audience turning of the worm. Also, the show comes out in June, and it's always unclear which season is up for which Emmys.
Right.
Well, it's clear but confusing. It's like the Emmys come out confusing. Right after the season comes out, but it's for the thing that came out a year ago.
Right.
And everyone's, especially last year, we're talking about season 2. We already all kind of said, I think season 2 is the crowning achievement of the show.
Right.
And then you're left with this horrible taste in your mouth from season 3 as they're sweeping. I guess they're not sweeping. They lost a couple. But, like, as they're raking in all of these Emmys,
right.
It's very, very confusing.
But then they lost for season 2.
Right.
2 hacks.
Yeah.
But people were voting as if they were voting on season 3.
Yeah.
But this is the minutia. I want to talk about the show. We are going to talk about the show.
Mm-hmm.
Season 4 arrived with little fanfare just about a week ago. What were your expectations heading into it?
I was fanfaring.
You were?
Oh, yes, I was. I don't care. I trusted in Chris Dorr and Joanna Calo. I said, you know what? Maybe last season was a bit of a doozy, but I trusted.
So your expectations were high, or were they measured? Because mine were low, very low.
I felt like from season 3, like, we could only go up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, season 3 was, like, not the best, but I think I had hope.
Okay, Jesse, what about you?
I had higher expectations, yeah.
No, I think I'm with you, Lauren. There was no. It sounds like you were one of one with the fanfare. You were tooting the horn. You might have been the only one, because genuinely, I didn't know the season came out until the Schmear texted me and said, "Do you want to cover this season?" And I was like, "The Bear's out." It was kind of a record scratch moment for me, but to your point about trusting, I'm like, yeah, I'm still going to sit down and watch every episode. There's 10 episodes. Is that remind me, is that expanded? Was it 8 previously, or has it been 10?
I think it's 10. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 10.
So, yeah, I'm still down to eat this entire season in 2 days, basically. Like, I binged it and enjoyed the ride for part of the way, because there are still good pieces. There are always going to be good elements. They're starting with such a good base, and they have such a good world that they've created in an ensemble of actors and writers that, like, it's not going to be terrible, but it did, it did go up from season 3, in my opinion.
All right, so let's continue from there. How did you guys feel about the season? Did it work for you, season 4?
Yes. I think in the first half, I was kind of like, are we going to have a season 3 situation in which, like, the plot does not really progress?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, in the latter half of the season, at least to me, we definitely got closure compared to last season, and definitely a different focus in the previous seasons, in that, like, I feel like this season most definitely focused more on, like, human connection and relationships, as opposed to, like, the actual bear as a restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, yes. And it kind of felt like a bit more mellower compared to the other seasons, and allowed the characters to, like, I think, like, throughout the season, like, every character was kind of trying to find a place of peace in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of felt that as, like, a through line through the season.
Yeah. I think that's what Carmy says his fear is. He says, what is the opposite of chaos? And someone's like, peace. He's like, yeah, I hate that. Jesse, what'd you think?
I think Groundhog Day was the wrong movie to feature in episode 1. I think the right movie to feature would have been Steven Spielberg's 1975 seminal classic Jaws, because this shit jumped the fucking shark from episode 1 to me. I still had a good time watching a lot of it. I still enjoyed a decent amount of it, but this feels to me, post season 3, like a classic jumping the shark situation.
Jump the shark into what?
Into a show that doesn't really know what it's doing. The show's no longer about food, to me, at all. Like, there's barely any food in this season. I think, as we're saying, it's about human connection now, which I'm totally down for. But there was so much signposting throughout the season. There were so many moments where characters said loudly and proudly in bold letters, "This is how I feel about the world. These are my values." I'm not that interested in that. I'm interested in seeing what a character's values are through action and through plot, whatever. But I'm not that interested in a character saying, like, legitimately bold, conclusive, "This is how I feel about restaurants, this is how I feel about people." It grated on me a little bit as the season went on.
I love this. We have
Yeah, I could see
Lauren,
that.
who liked the season,
Okay.
Jesse, who hated it.
No, I didn't hate it. I did
think
not
I'm
hate
in the
it.
middle.
I didn't hate it.
I think more of it worked than it didn't work. There were some beautiful bits of acting, and there were these stirring emotional moments. But there was some real interpersonal molasses to wade through.
Yeah.
And when the victories come, they're hard wrought and they're hard won. And to get through the season was cathartic, but certainly not enjoyable. You know, some shows operate at 1.0 speed. I'd say that's the baseline TV show. Some are at 1.5. Some are at 2.0, and you're like flying through it. You're like, whoa, too much is happening. This show was down at 0.5 speed. You know, I felt like the characters were speaking like super slowly, like in slow-mo. I thought the story development was non-existent. And, you know, the show early on, Christopher Storer referenced Michael Mann as like his god, you know, in terms of how story tracks and develops and character beats and the intensity. And you could feel that in season 2 in some episodes, for example. This was not Michael Mann. This Is Us.
Oh.
And that's okay. And that's okay if that's what the show wants to be.
You can't say that I'm coming on saying I hated this season when you're saying The Bear season 4 is This Is Us.
That's what I felt. I mean,
do-
these conversations,
crying.
these moments, you know,
Listen.
it's okay. If that's what the show is now, that's okay. It's still the expert level version of a This Is Us. I mean, these actors are really amazing, and I want to get to all of them, and we will as we cover the season. But like weddings, births, heart attacks, it's just This Is Us. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that they definitely like dragged on. I don't know. Maybe I just had like when you like like the cast and like characters of a show, like I feel like you give them more leeway to like I could just watch, I don't know, Sid and Carmy like talking for a whole episode about nothing, and I'd be like, you know what, this is kind of like a therapy session. I do think it took a whopping 10 episodes to get essentially nowhere.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a payoff, at least compared to season 3, definitely. And I do wish they didn't stray so far away from like you were saying, Jesse, from the culinary world. Like I feel like there's very little of that in this season.
It's just, Jesse, I think you're right. It's just like it's not a cooking show. It's not a food show. It's just the drama about people.
Yeah.
At
With
this
like
point.
cooking
Food's
in the
food's
backdrop.
the backdrop. Exactly.
Right.
Emotionally, it's very clear-eyed and thoughtful, but it's like drawing blood from a stone. Like it is so hard to get through to what people are actually feeling, what they actually want to say. That's the other thing, Jesse. Like you say that they say what they mean. I actually don't think they do. They say lots of these cones and sayings and like can't just be direct with each other. And on one hand, you could be like, well, that's actually how human beings are. We are not direct. We don't know how to communicate. On the other hand, normal people get to the root of things and the heart of the matter way quicker than characters in The Bear do.
Yeah.
I mean, Claire and Carmy have not been getting to the plot of their whole thing for years. Like, I need this to wrap up. Like, are you together or not?
Exactly.
I also think the season kind of on the map of its characters, and this is an issue when you craft such a great ensemble and you cast it so well, like certain people get lost in the sauce, and
Absolutely.
just the geography of the show is all over the map. And I think this season tried to clarify and condense it to bring it to the main players like Carmy, like Sid. That's fine, but in doing so, I thought some people really got left behind or lost in it. Before we get into the episodes, I want to just ask you guys, like, why is no one talking about this season?
I think a lot of people just dropped off after season 3. I mean, like, I know people, like friends, my brother and my mom were like huge fans of seasons 1 and 2, and obviously binged season 3 when it came out, and they were both like left with like a sour taste in their mouth, and they haven't even like started. I mean, given it's been out like a week, but they compared to like last seasons where they binged it all immediately, like a lot of people I know, they haven't even queued it up in the Hulu Roku channel. So
as Harvey Dent said, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's kind of The Bear in season 3, and now I don't know. Like, it's not a villain turn season 4. Like, last season was really odiously bad. But there's been no press for this season, and I'm curious. These stars are busy.
Yeah.
Ebon Moss-Bachrach is about to be the thing in a couple weeks. I think
Hell yeah.
his
Hell
energy's there. Jeremy Allen White, who knows?
He's going to be Bruce Springsteen, and I know that because every 5 minutes during the show, I was fed that commercial by lovely non-ad-free Hulu.
Jesse wasn't, because he's got the premium Hulu.
Yes. I watched straight through.
It's nice. No one was quite available maybe for press, but also I wonder if there was a strategic distancing from the show because it just isn't as good.
Could be.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But then again, like, even if you just get a name, like Jeremy Allen White, like, people are going to watch whether they like the bear or not, because it's like, or like Ayo, like.
The final thing I want to say before maybe we jump into the season in more detail is that Winter Break 2017, I did cry to almost every episode of This Is Us in my childhood bed. So I want to put that out there.
You couldn't let that go.
I wanted to say it. You know, we talk a lot of shit about This Is Us.
Are you saying you were more emotionally drained by that? You were more moved by This Is Us than The Bear? Is that what you're coming around to say?
Can I be honest? I've never seen This Is Us.
That's okay. I don't think you needed to start.
So I don't really know what we're referencing when we're referencing This Is Us. I've heard opposite sides of the spectrum of this said show, though.
We don't need to waste too much time on This Is Us, but it's just
we could turn this into a This Is Us podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Pull the rug out from the Schmear listeners and just
no need. We have The Bear season 4 to discuss. So
true.
Oh.
Shall we discuss
Let's do it? All right, let's go through these episodes. Some will cover faster than others. Some are more eventful than others. Let's start with episode 1, Groundhogs, written and directed by Christopher Storer, the creator of the show. With 2 months to save the restaurant, the bear tightens operations and aims high. Okay, this was exactly what I wasn't looking for to start a season.
Yeah.
This was so bad. The first 2 or 3 episodes really.
It was a tough hang.
Really bad. Like, if you're telling me, okay, sorry about season 3, like, we're ready to launch you into the future, this is not the way to do it. And I don't even remember what was notable about these 2 episodes besides a lot of yelling.
They put on a timer. There was a timer involved.
There's a timer.
So, can I say about the timer? That is just reheated from last season. There was the whole fucking thing about the clock last season. And
I felt like I was watching like season 3 again, these first 2 episodes. Same kind of issue. Just like, okay, we're on a time crunch. The bear's gonna go out of business.
Let's get that star.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ayo's gonna leave. Sydney's gonna leave.
And that review that was so worried about in season 3, like, I don't think we even get to really see it. And then when we see it, it's like, it was divisive.
Right.
Like, okay, great. Like,
the review, I forgot what it said, but I remember like pausing and reading it, and I wonder if it was like a dig at the reviews of like season 3.
Oh,
because maybe just like a little tongue-in-cheek thing.
This is interesting because this brings me to something I'm not sure about, which is when precisely the season shot. Because I know parts of it shot in conjunction with season 3, and then others had to be picked up later.
My understanding was that almost all of season 4 was shot at the same time.
My understanding is that they had to reshoot or shoot a lot more, and were filming up to the beginning of 2025.
But am I wrong in thinking that the overall
arc,
like the big bones of the season were shot in conjunction with season 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But I don't know.
But I do like that read, Lauren.
Yeah, same.
Like, I think it was like inconsistent and like a little pretentious or something.
Yeah.
And that was season 3.
Yes.
So whether they meant to or not, they kind of put a target on their back with that one, I think.
Fulfilled the prophecy.
Great.
Yeah.
I hated being back in this style of just like in the kitchen yelling. Someone screams, cuts to someone else. They're screaming, cuts to someone else. Like, the bear thing was really grinded my gears.
The zoom in, the stark blue light. Like,
buzzing, the fluorescent, the quick cut of everything. What was so successful about season 2 is that they did figure out a way to reinvent themselves completely and like show us a totally new TV show in season 2 while keeping the hallmarks that we love from season 1. And then season 3 just felt like more of the same with these like shoehorned in hallmarks. And now season 4 we're talking about opens with exactly that. With no big jump from season 3. Like we're saying, it picks up exactly where it left off, which feels like the wrong way to start something after
it was called Groundhog Day. Maybe it was supposed to feel.
There wasn't actually anything to back up the fact
I
that
have
Carmy
no idea.
and Marcus were like, it feels like Groundhog Day. I'm like, you're just telling us that. You are not showing us that.
Like, yeah, there was nothing.
This gets to my season 3 issue was that, like, you know, Chris Storer, people were like, well, you know, the theme of this season is stuckness. And I'm like, sure, we all can get stuck in life. But as a TV show, please no. Like, life's stuck enough. Like, move some shit along. Yeah. So this was telling me that same theme remains true in season 4, which I think is not the case for the entire season, but rough first episode, rough second episode. Second episode's called Subi, not French, Subi. Written by Catherine Shattina, directed by Christopher Storer and Duccio Fabri. Budget cuts and burnout set in as Carmy and Sydney rethink the menu and their motivations. More of the same?
Yeah, 1
Couldn't
and 2.
believe this partnership agreement talk was still going.
1 and 2 needed to be 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just like Sydney cooking the pasta in under 3 minutes and Carmy being like, whoa, she's like a good cook. What? Like, we've had this moment before. We know she's good.
Yeah. And if that's like if that's one of the reasons leading to major spoiler, what were you gonna say?
No, yeah, the revised.
Yeah,
the revised
exactly.
Thing.
Like, yeah, we know she's a fucking savant. She's a great cook. We've seen that for 3 seasons. Also, if I have to hear the phrase "every second counts" again, like I know every second counts, but it's at this point it's like every episode's the same. Not every second counts.
Right. It's a lie.
I did like going back to episode 1 real quick. Carmy doing like a little like chest thing and Sydney just like rolling her eyes. Like that was so real because like, listen, just speak to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use words.
Yeah, that thing was annoying, and I'm glad they agreed with us.
Cut that.
Something happened in episode 2 that kind of describes exactly what you hate, Jesse, which is a scene of Ebon Moss-Bachrach's Richie in his bed late at night, and he just starts speaking his feelings to no one.
Yep.
And I just wrote down, like, what? Like,
yeah.
You couldn't have him say this to any single person.
And characters keep doing this.
I know.
In episode 1, I think it's Carmy. He literally goes, "Restaurants are special places." And I'm like, it took you 4 seasons to say that? I think my bullshit meter just kept going off. Like you're saying with Richie in bed. Sugar and Carmy have this conversation to end episode 2.
Took so long.
It was like a 38-minute conversation about how she was like, you had a spark in your eyes the day you flew off to New York, and I haven't seen that spark back.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's 2025. Please. We're all in therapy. We don't need it in our TV show.
Very much therapy speak throughout the entire season. And part of me was like, wait, is this purposeful? Like, are we meant to be feeling like this character is getting therapy? Like they spoke very much in therapy speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've been, like, respecting my boundaries lately.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about other people and not myself.
This episode, for me, kind of just highlighted, like I said, like, just got me angry because I remembered all these things that were unresolved, like the partnership agreement, like the fact that Carmy hasn't met his niece yet.
Oh, and that was crazy.
And family is so important.
How long has this baby been alive, Miss Sophie?
I mean, the baby's like is moving its head around, so whatever that means, it's
cognitive in a sense.
I could not believe that.
They're like, "Have you seen the baby yet?" And he was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm an uncle for the first time ever.
Me from my couch. I was
Truly.
like, "Have you met your niece yet?" Well, okay, but something good remains, which is that there are great songs underscoring the show.
So many songs.
Great needle drops.
Great needle drops.
Life's What You Make It from Talk Talk. Just cool songs.
Yeah, we got Led Zeppelin, Van Morrison, The Pretenders. I loved that Pretenders needle drop that I think ended episode 2.
Let's discuss episode 3, Scallop, written by Renee Goop, directed by Christopher Storer. Momentum builds in the kitchen while Carmy wrestles with unresolved personal ties.
Does he? Wait, you guys are making me hateful. I liked the season.
I actually...
But I do have... Like, those first 2 episodes, I do agree were...
Okay. We're going to get more positive, I think.
No,
Jesse?
I agree, Lauren, completely. I'm being, like...
You're getting heated.
I'm being a shit for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not a critic.
There are merits.
I enjoyed it. I sat there and I watched in 2 days.
I think... Yeah, I don't know. I think I found myself really wanting to like it and constantly being disappointed. But I think I'm going to take a nicer tack. You take a meaner tack, I'll take a nicer tack, and we'll meet in the middle.
Okay.
Episode 3.
Huge for bisexuals.
Wait, in what way? That they mentioned Motocrossed, the fantastic Disney Channel original film?
That was one of my favorite moments of the season. No, the opening montage of
Saint
Ayo
Vincent
cooking.
Oh, the bisexual lighting.
It was bisexual lighting. Yeah.
Now, what did that mean?
I think Sydney's on a journey with her sexuality.
And you know what? Today's July 1st. This is coming out in July. Mm-hmm. So
straight people are back on
LGBTQ
top.
people don't exist anymore. So
Yep.
it's really unfortunate.
I didn't even think about all of this. Well, maybe that speaks to that. But I did think of this as Sid's flow state, which was one of the few moments of cooking in the whole season.
Yeah.
And I love cooking, and I love seeing a montage of cooking.
I love the montages. I really missed that this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I remember, I was watching this scene of her cooking in episode 3 and just thinking this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was really nice.
Yeah.
You know what else is beautiful? Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner. Let's give it up for our guy. Come on.
I know you're excited to see him, Jesse.
I mean, I stood up and clapped the second he popped on screen.
I did too. I was like, could it? Is it?
I know.
Rob Reiner?
He
looks good. He's on that
looking
Zempic.
Skinny. Yeah, he's looking very svelte, and I was like, those aren't the chubby cheeks of Rob Reiner, but sure enough. I was happy to see him, and I think this plot line with Ibra and the window wasn't, to me, the weakest plot line of the season.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Ibra, I think, got completely lost in the shuffle last season and had no purpose, and it felt a little bit like, all right, so the dishwashing line cooks, those, no one cares about them in season 3.
Right.
So giving him more agency and then giving him this kind of life coach Macher and Rob Reiner was
so good.
Exciting.
Those people are real.
Yeah, totally.
I know people like that.
That's
my
crazy,
my dad
actually,
is a corporate coach. I mean, that's a real thing. So
I love the sandwich guys. I'm
so
ready for
funny.
the spin-off because I just like that energy more than what's happening in the kitchen.
We really do need a spinoff. That'd be fantastic.
yeah, I mean they're gonna franchise.
But Lauren, do you agree? That crew is just making you feel a little nicer than the rest of the cast?
And it's like a nice little break from the turmoil.
For sure. It's outdoors. They're seated around the table. It's back to the roots of the show.
I was just going to say, it feels like season 1 and 2 when I'm watching.
The interplay and the chemistry that the Facts
so funny.
And all the Chicago guys.
Yeah.
That's as you just said, those are the roots of the show. We had that Richie, Carmy, electric Chicago working class thing, and that's what they do. It feels so nice when we get to that. It just feels like, okay, we can sit back and relax and not have to worry about therapy speak for a few minutes.
It even relates to the food. I want a beef sandwich. I don't want the tweezer food at this point in the show.
I think we all want a beef sandwich at this point.
All right, I have a very important question for the both of you.
Yes.
Talk.
Would this all be fixed if Carmy just started smoking again?
Oh, well, perhaps.
Because around this episode, I was like, man,
he needs a cigarette. He needs to light.
Just smoke a cig, and maybe this is all fixed.
I actually did write my major highlight of the season was the amount of anxiety / nerve smoking. I mean, even Sydney.
Except not from Carmy.
Not from Carmy. That is so true. And dare I say, he was the one who needed it the most. He was the one who needed a ciggy the most. For sure.
I just think it's pretty hot when Jeremy Allen White chomps that Nicorette. I'm not gonna lie. I'm as an actor, I'm like,
when you see it coming out of the aluminum.
Yeah, and the like crackly noise it makes.
That's
and
a
he's
crazy take because people think cigarette smoking's the sexiest thing an actor can
and
do.
it is. But I also think gum chewing, like I feel like Brad Pitt does a lot of gum chewing. Ryan Gosling has done
good
some
gum
gum
There's like a
chewing.
certain way that like certain actors like chew.
Yeah.
Like Brad Pitt, like I could imagine him like chomping on something
Wow.
right now.
Well,
Yeah.
as two actors, please let me know because when I chew gum, my mom says spit it out.
Well, would you
Wanna
rather
chew
your
some
mom think
gum?
it's sexy?
Actually, that's a great point,
That's
Lauren.
a good point.
No.
Same.
So this episode had a little bit of that classic bear magic. This was super scenty as they find out that a family's coming into the restaurant. Their daughter is recovering from
Right.
cancer. They put on a very beautiful show for her. They make some fake snow. They serve her Swiss Miss hot chocolate outdoors. And wouldn't you know it, a not obvious at all restaurant critic is secretly there and witnesses it. And we are happy about that because we know that'll mean good things in the Bears' future. Did this work for you guys?
Yes, I think it did.
We're only
I mean,
human,
like,
right?
Yeah, and I just love, like, I really do love Richie's character development. The passion and dedication he has to, like, making each experience for the guests. One that's amazing, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think his character development is just, like, one of all time, personally. Like, some people might miss his, like, Chicago, what I'm
he
trying
still
to
has
say
that
here.
though. I mean, he's still
Yeah, he
such a
does.
Chicago guy, and I think what's so satisfying as the viewer is seeing him slot into the like fine dining world as this working class Chicago guy. And honestly,
And it feels like he found, like, a passion. Like, he truly
Yeah.
loves it.
yeah,
Like, and him, like, not letting, like, his daughter and I forgot her name, the ex-wife, like, him not letting them come yet because it's, like, almost ready, like, shows that he really just wants to help get this place to a perfect spot.
But that's
Yeah.
what bothers me because it's in a great spot and like just let them come to the restaurant. Like
Yeah, but, like, to him, it's
you're
not.
right about his development to this point, but there's nothing beyond this point. And of the characters, I thought he was the most stuck, one of the most stuck this season, with not much going on.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
haven't given props to Ebon Moss-Bachrach, who deserves eternal props, because even if he's stuck, he is such a great actor.
Holy shit, yeah.
I would watch him read the phone book, and I just think like he is always delivering, even when the show is not delivering, he's delivering for me. And even when his character's not delivering, I'm still like even that scene where he's praying out loud in bed, as we talked about. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're still a good actor. You're a great actor.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Jeremy Allen White and Molly Gordon, who plays Claire, are dating.
Don't even say that. Don't even say that
Who
because
could've
that is my
guessed
man.
that?
Oh, my man.
could've
Do you
guessed
feel that chemistry in their scenes? Because in the end of
Absolutely.
episode 3, we have a great Carmy Claire scene. Great? I don't know. Actually, I'll put it to you guys. What did you think at this moment?
If Carmy is Endgame, I don't want to be a part of it because I just like don't like I don't know why, because it's like they've known each other for so long. It's like at this point, like you either like love each other or you don't, like be together or not. Like I'm tired of the whole like Carmy, like I miss like what we like. I don't know.
I said something batshit crazy on the pod last year, which was that I wanted Sid and Carmy together.
I think
Just
I
to
got,
blow
I
shit
got
up.
really,
That's
I got
blow
mad
shit
at
up.
you
half
for that
of the
one.
fandom wants Sid Carmy Endgame.
Such a bad take.
It's
Carmy
a bad
should- what did
take,
I-
but
I think-
it's a take. Like
I don't remember what I said in response, but I'm like, I think Carmy needs to be celibate or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, no one should be with Carmy. And I think Molly Gordon deserves better. And
did you feel the heat in their scene?
Well, I thought that I thought the acting was great. I thought both of them were great in
Yeah.
the scene. I didn't necessarily love the scene though, and I thought it was quite a long scene. It was probably 5-7 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty long. Kind of dragged on.
Of saying the same things.
Exactly.
Yes.
But
just going
circling the
forward.
drain.
Performance-wise, solid. Without that scene, we would not have had Teddy Fack referencing Disney Channel original movie.
Yes.
Motocross. So
Also,
He's
Carmy runs
hilarious.
really fast.
why was he running?
He just like ran. He was just like, I'm gonna run, and then he ran.
He's
all
got
the
to
way to
run.
Claire.
That's like, if we need to take one thing to be like, this is what's wrong with season 4 of The Bear. Did we really need him running through the streets of Chicago to show his inner emotional state? I don't think so. It's just, like, not necessary to me. Even driving to some music, angsty.
Let's move on to episode 4, Worms, written by Ayo Edebiri and Lionel Boyce, directed by Janicza Bravo. Sydney weighs a tempting offer as a quiet day away sharpens her doubts and instincts.
This was maybe one of my favorite episodes of the season, and it didn't have really, it was just like pretty disconnected from everything except for Sydney's. Except for Sydney's decision, because it is so real. I've had conversation with like my little cousins, and like kids like low-key spit facts sometimes. Like they have like they impart wisdom without knowing it.
They're not like wrapped up in adult speak like this show is.
Yeah.
And just for a little context, this episode does not feature the kitchen at all. It's Ayo in the south side of Chicago getting her braids done. She seems to be with a cousin or friend of hers, and that person, the hairdresser's child, who she spends the day with.
Yeah.
As the child deliberates whether or not to go to this sleepover, and then Ayo uses it Sydney uses it as a metaphor for her own indecision about what to do between sticking with the bear or going to Adam Shapiro's restaurant.
Do you guys think this decision of hers, like considering it started like early season 3, do you think like us finally getting a resolution to it took a bit too long?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, 9 episodes.
It took the longest.
Because
oh my god.
It's like one of the reasons I didn't like the show in a big way.
I was going to say, like, if this season ends and we don't get an answer, I might have to clock out. Just kidding. I would actually never clock out, but I would be very, very, very disappointed.
Well, helping the decision is Shapiro being a microaggressive weirdo.
Dick.
Such a douchebag.
Yeah.
Really tough. But I also think that, I know you have some thoughts about his acting, Jesse. I like that he isn't overtly awful, but he's implicitly awful.
Yeah. I mean, I found him overtly awful, but I get what you mean. I mean, the character is written to be implicitly awful. I totally get that he's supposed to be a douchebag, but I was just like so turned off by every second he was on screen, and it really took me out.
Was he giving her? Did he give her the tour of the kitchen, the previous episode or the next episode?
It was this episode. It was the beginning of Worms.
Okay,
she goes to see him.
Yeah, he was explicitly a douche, I think.
Yeah. But it makes the decision easy. I mean, I think.
Well, it should. We should have gotten an instant answer right there, her being like, hell no.
But there's a pizza oven, people.
To Lauren's point, I think this episode, I found the metaphor a little so-so, a little heavy-handed. However, I thought the writing was so lived in throughout the entire episode, and I think the fact that
just the production design.
Yeah.
Daniel Deadweiler, we should mention, playing the hairdresser.
Fucking funny. Oh my god, I was laughing out loud.
She was my favorite
new
actor this season.
What else has she been in? Because I know she...
Till.
She was in Till. She was in The Piano Lesson.
Okay, right.
She was in Woman in the Yard.
Because I know she looks super familiar, yeah.
She was in Carry On randomly.
Yeah, Carry On. She was very funny in Carry On.
Oh.
I sometimes have issues with her as a performer because when she has to do serious, she does the same thing. Yeah. But she's hysterical.
She's so good.
She's in full blue Adidas Originals tracksuit.
Looking amazing.
Giving Bibby vibes from Atlanta. Remember?
Yeah,
the barbershop owner, Bibby, who takes Donald Glover on that long episode ride. Her eye roll, rolled to the back of her skull.
And her relationship with her daughter is so good.
Electric.
Again, just so... the writing was just so lived in and well observed. You knew these people instantly, and you didn't
miss the bear.
Didn't miss it at all.
No. Let Ayo write. Let her in the writer's room.
That love of cooking that comes through when Ayo makes her... I assumed it was her little cousin.
Right.
It doesn't really matter to get into the details, but I assumed that Daniel Deadweiler was her cousin, and so this was her cousin once removed. In the kitchen, cooking a simple meal, but elevating it. That's what the bear is all about.
Gourmet hamburger helper.
Yeah, I think we only had 2 moments of that this season where I felt like cooking as an act of love came through.
And they were both Sydney, or one's with Marcus in the dessert, but Sydney with the scallop and here, perhaps.
I do think Carmy cooking his mother the dish.
That was nice.
That was nice.
Because she was like, oh, let me cook. And then he was like, no, let me cook for you.
The sleepover analogy was a little overdone.
Yeah.
I think that
Overdone.
I just think that we kind of knew what Sydney was feeling
100%.
by a certain point,
100%.
where she was leaning. But it was a really nice episode. I thought it felt so fresh, and I needed this palate cleanser. It was
Yeah.
very triggering. The flashing 12 o'clock.
Oh,
on
I know.
The
I know.
oven.
Must
Reminded me
have
of
been
college.
Post daylight savings. No, they probably just never fixed it. I think the fact that, correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren, you seem to be a bear historian. Schmear, you've probably done more research than I have. Is this the first Sydney standalone episode we've gotten? And if so, whether or not it's true, which I think it is, it feels a little late to like have this be the first Sydney episode.
Yeah.
That to me feels like something that should have happened at least 2 seasons ago. I was thrilled.
Alone moments within episodes.
She
like
has,
There's
like,
the one
her
episode-
culinary tour
When
of
her-
Chicago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Her and
definitely
her
had
father
Sydney.
had that one episode.
I was really happy that we had this Sydney standalone episode, and what am I complaining about? We have it. I can't change the past. But it just struck me that I'm like, oh wow, 4 seasons in.
Yeah.
Well, would the show have been better served doing episodes like this for more characters more often?
I feel
mean,
like they've
personally,
done
in
one.
the past, my favorite episodes have been the standalone ones. Like,
Right.
well, like,
Right,
for
but
the
I meant
most part,
all
standalone.
season. Like, does Sweeps
Oh.
need
Just
an
like-
episode? Does Ibrahim need an episode? Like,
No.
could it have been done artfully enough that it makes sense, that it's actually furthering the character,
Like,
and then when
and
it comes
ties
all
in
back
everything.
around, it feels better.
I just think if we are sitting here having a season 4 conversation and the 10 episodes we're looking at are an Ebert episode, a Sweeps episode, a Sydney episode, a Luca episode, we're having a whole other conversation where we're like, what the fuck is this show thinking?
Yeah, but couldn't that have been kind of interesting?
I don't think we would have seen it that way. I think we would have been like,
I don't know.
Why
maybe
did
if
the
it were
bear do
like
that?
a 16 episode season or something.
But people always hail the Marcus in Denmark episode, the Richie
Yes.
Forks
That's
episode.
true.
But too much
I
of
know
a good
they're- I
thing.
know they're
It's
sprinkled
too much
in.
of a good thing. Exactly.
I was
But are
just
we
gonna
getting
say
too
maybe
little of
like
it?
maybe like we like them so much because it is like a nice little departure from like our usual like what we know.
Yeah.
It's like a change of scenery.
A show that I think the Bear admires is Atlanta,
Absolutely.
also from FX, also a sitcom.
Well, Hiro
which had
Murai
some
is the,
really right. He's an executive producer
Yeah.
here. That had some really crazy left turn episodes.
But
that
they earned
totally. I understand, but if
I think there were too
so
many
did the
left-hand
Bear.
episodes.
So did the Bear with those episodes early. Like,
yes. But the bear is
I needed more experimentation and boldness.
the bear is rooted in reality. The bear is not rooted in Afrofuturism or sci-fi or anything like that.
Yeah.
And Atlanta, from episode 1, is like, this is
Twilight
not
Zone.
exactly the world. Exactly. This is not exactly the world you think it is. So the bear absolutely earned forks and fishes and napkins and all.
Those are fantastical. Like, those aren't reality.
They are. But for all of a sudden, the season to open and all we have are standalone episodes where you get little things sprinkled in of what's happening at the bear would have been very confusing and I think worse.
I don't know. I already was like not loving the show. I wouldn't have cared if they said, let's fuck this shit up a little bit.
Fair enough.
Well, if there's a season 5, we'll see if they fuck shit up a little bit more.
Let's talk about episode 5, Replicants, written by Karen Joseph Adcock,
I meant
directed
season
by
5.
Christopher Storr. I know. While Carmy takes steps towards growth and Marcus makes a difficult goodbye, Sydney faces a sudden personal crisis that throws everything into perspective.
And Jesse is bored to tears.
Hello, Kate Berlant.
Yeah, welcome.
That was something.
It was something.
Well spoken, well
She's
written.
one of my absolute favorites, and I was like, okay,
Is that just throwing a friend a bone?
I think so.
Because I don't
Hey,
know what
can
it
you guys
really...
remind me who Kate Berlant is?
She
Kate
was,
Berlant is giving the AA monologue at the opening of the
Oh,
episode.
right. Okay.
and she's a comedian.
Oh yeah,
She-
the cold
yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Which-
And Carmy like really loves this.
Yeah.
He's like chuckling to himself. He gets it.
He loves it so much that he needs to go to the Frank Lloyd Wright house right after. Nice
did
Paul
not-
Simon song.
Yeah,
but
something
this
so
felt
right.
like,
Paul Simon, banger.
This felt like Jesse, like a bad Top Chef cutscene.
I completely agree.
Oh.
I mean, there was the Top Chef Frank Lloyd
They
Wright
did
Wisconsin
do that
thing.
in Wisconsin.
Yeah. No.
Lauren, do you watch
This-
Top Chef?
I've watched a few episodes.
So sometimes they'll take the chefs when they need to slow things down before the action-packed moments. They'll take them on a little journey to find artistic inspiration, and they would do something like this and take them to the Frank Lloyd Wright house.
That's
You
crazy.
get B-roll of like a chef touching like an oak table. This was doo-doo. This was
Yeah.
my bullshit meter went off so much. Can we talk about what format was this shot on? It was shot on
Digital.
Like, was it like video camera? It was.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand that choice.
I didn't get it.
I love all the flares that the bear takes, but I was just like, what's the point of having this shot on camcorder?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
There
I
was
don't
a
know.
second.
Who directed
oh my God.
this one?
Christopher Storer.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, Chrissy.
Chrissy.
There was a
Okay.
moment at the very end of this Frank Lloyd Wright montage where Carmy like steps back from the house and he's standing in a field and he's like looking at the house and the camera's lingering on his face and he just goes like,
It's a podcast, Jesse. You have to explain your face.
well, we'll clip this for the internet.
Bemused awe.
Bemused awe, like a self-satisfied chuckle.
Uh-huh.
I was like, what's going through his mind?
Truly.
It's just like beautiful Chicago.
It was giving very much girl who's going to be okay after AA
Oh.
meeting and visiting the Frank.
Yeah, Lauren, good call.
But also, nothing else happens the rest of the episode either, to my estimation.
Except for Sydney's
Oh,
dad
yeah.
Oh.
That is
having a heart attack, which was just like, why was that thrown in there?
Because this is us.
And we saw it
Yeah.
coming from 1,000 miles away.
Right.
Yeah. From the
however-
second she like blew him off in the beginning, like
Yeah.
you knew like she was gonna regret.
There's a real
And he had-
cats in the cradle, Harry
Yeah.
Chapin.
We have to shout out Carmen Christopher coming in from off the bench, playing Marcus's friend from childhood who's like a realtor.
Right.
I love Carmen
And
Christopher.
also gay.
And also gay. That's a huge, let's circle that and make 1,000 question marks because what the fuck is that about?
Well,
But
Pride
Carmen
Month.
Christopher saying a lot of skaters are moving to the neighborhood. And then he says, and white kids with baggy pants, which is actually a good thing, unfortunately. That had me rolling. I mean, that was fucking hilarious.
That was funny.
I'm glad because I have my only laugh in the entire season coming up a little later, so
Great.
I will share it, and it might relate to this. Luca returns, played
Yeah,
by Will
Luca
Poulter.
returns.
Hot Will Poulter. Here's the thing. We saw at the end of last season this flirtation with Sid, and here it continues,
Yeah.
but nothing comes of it.
No.
Yeah, well,
Why?
It,
Why don't you just have them bang
I
in
think
the
by
closet?
like season 13, they'll probably end up finally getting together.
You're so right.
They have kind of a cringy conversation about chives and Chicago accents, and
Oh yeah.
it wasn't my favorite.
Millennial
like-
representation matters,
This show has become millennial, big time millennial core.
and that's okay. I did notice in the back of a shot the Wi-Fi password's up on the wall.
Oh yeah.
What is the
Did you
Wi-Fi
see
password?
this? Go fast boats mojito, which is a Miami
yes.
Vice
Miami
reference.
Vice, yeah.
Oh, I never watched Miami Vice.
Let's talk about episode 6, Sophie, written and directed by Christopher Storer. As Sydney confronts her fears and Richie opens up about fatherhood, tensions ripple through the Bears' extended family with big choices looming for nearly everyone. How do you guys feel about the Neil Fack, Sugar, baby talk thing?
I was like, this is a man nearing 40. Why are we treating him like a 7-year-old boy? Like,
He's also one of the most accomplished chefs in North America,
Yeah.
and I'm done with the joke.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Maddie Matheson. It was
Yeah.
funny at first. Like,
Yeah.
it was cute
But
early
then
on.
I was like, wait, is he like?
He's an infant.
I guess. Does he have a?
I don't know.
A mental
The joke,
disability?
the joke's just old for me.
I just think
Like,
We love
"Aw,
Maddie
baby."
Maddie
Matheson,
Matheson
And then
is
him
so
being like, I just want to
dynamic.
like smell the baby.
He's
Okay.
just so funny though.
He
He's funny.
is.
He's
He is
funny, but
so
it's the same
funny.
No,
damn
he is.
joke.
Like, he definitely
for-
gives like levity to everything.
Yeah.
He just has, just every line reading kills me that he has. I get it. I get what you're saying, both of you, but I do just still enjoy the Maddie
Okay.
thing. And he and his brother, Teddy, can't remember the actor's name, but shout out to him.
Yeah. Ricky
They're-
Staffieri.
Ricky Staffier, so fucking funny together, those two.
I have been known to be, how do I say this without getting canceled?
You hate
not
women.
the biggest Ayo Edebiri fan.
Like I said, you hate women.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
No, Jesse knows this. Everyone knows this around me. Lauren, now you know. But
Is there a butt coming?
yeah, there's a
Okay,
butt.
good.
Her
Should I
performance.
say why I dislike her? Like, just to give some context.
Well, it's because she's a woman.
Will I be more canceled?
So.
Because she's a woman.
Actually.
I'm not a fan of her thing, her style, her acting, or lack thereof. This, like, detached, Gen Z, ironic, sarcastic, muttering under her breath thing. Here, I thought she was really good in this episode, especially in that hospital scene with Claire.
Dude.
She was accessing
That
a deep well of
broke me.
feelings.
Yeah, that was
And
crazy.
shout out Ayo.
She went full snot acting.
Yeah.
That was
And she even
incredible.
referenced it because it was so snotty. She said, this
Yeah.
is gross. I said, you know what, baby girl? Let this not run. Because
She
you
crushed
gave
that.
us the performance
She really crushed
of the
that.
season.
I think this is obvious, but I like this. The way, like, you know, you can compare and contrast her call with Shapiro, who's such a dolt, and her call with Carmy, who is not over talking, but just kind of there for her. As he says, whatever you need, like, do it. It speaks to how, like, family, no matter how much you fight with them, know the right thing to say to the person in the moment.
Yeah.
But then this really bothered me, and a bow is tied on it by the end of the season. But man, did this stick in my craw for a while. Carmy gets off the phone with Sid, gets a call from Shapiro. Nothing happens with that call.
I know. I'm like, okay, so is Shapiro poaching Carmy too? Did anyone else have that
No,
thought?
not at all. I knew it was
No.
about Sid, but I just couldn't believe Carmy did not talk to her about it. He only let it slip in the finale.
Yeah, I was totally joking about my read of that call. I actually didn't think that was what was happening.
But did this bother you guys? Because, like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe that this ball was hidden from us forever.
Yeah. No,
The
it
fact
was,
that-
Carmy knew.
That Carmy knew about Sydney
Oh.
taking the meeting, flirting with this restaurant
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah.
Gabriel, it shows his growth. It shows his growth that he was able to keep that under wraps.
Okay, sure.
He was letting her
sensitive.
make her own decision because she's a woman.
Right. The scene with Sydney and her dad, this is when I was like,
Yeah.
this is some stinky down the middle cheese.
Yeah, not good.
Actually, it's not stinky. It's just American cheese. Like, it's just cheese. It's a cheese puff of a scene.
Yeah. Nothing more to say about that. It was really fucking cheesy. This is
I do
bullshit
like
alert on
earlier in the
high alert.
episode when Marcus had his little moment with Sophie, the baby. I thought it was so cute. I love Marcus so much.
Yeah, Marcus
Marcus is cute, but also gets lost this season to me. Someone else who gets lost this season is Tina, who for 10 episodes
Oh my
has
fucking
this
God.
pasta cooking journey.
All
Oh my
Tina
God.
cares, like all the show cares about is making Tina cook this pasta faster. That is not enough for her.
I care about more to her than that.
So do I. Lisa Colon
I thought there was going to be some beef. Like,
She's an Emmy winner. Didn't she win Best Supporting?
Yeah,
I
she
think
did.
last year?
did. Tony nominee too.
This was egregious.
She
they
deserves
really gave
so
her
much better.
nothing. They gave her nothing to do. Like, she actually, like, I think we only saw her at that pasta station.
Literally.
I think you're right.
And again, I agree, Lauren, that I was like, okay, what is this building to? Is she going to recuse herself from the kitchen? Is she going to get fired for not being fast
Yeah,
enough? But
because
no.
I thought Carmy saw, like, okay, Sid did that easy as hell.
Right.
He's going
Right.
to say, hey, listen, you got to get this or you're...
There was also a Marcus slowness thing that never amounted to anything.
Yeah.
either.
Right. And, like, she's helping him. And then we're jumping ahead a little bit, but, like, when she finally does cook the pasta fast enough...
Good moment.
It is a good moment. But also I felt a little, like, it was a little manipulative. Like, Luca...
I thought that too.
Luca tricked her into cooking the pasta faster, and she had not a moment's thought about that. She was just like, I did it. I can
You're
do
right.
it. And
You're
I was
right.
like,
You're right.
it's a little nasty that he was like, we need this, we need a sample of the pasta. And then she did it right.
Interesting. Can I read you guys an actual piece of dialogue from this episode?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is from Sugar to Carm. Bear, I don't want you hiding from things because you're hiding from things.
And let's
Yeah.
unpack that. So,
Let's.
when she said, like, she doesn't want him hiding from things, what she really meant was that, like, she didn't want him hiding from things.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
that make sense?
Are
Yep.
you, Lauren, are you a screenwriter? Because
Well, I actually ghost wrote this episode. So, yeah.
Let's give you your
All
flowers.
right, can I read you another line of dialogue from this episode?
Sure.
So Richie's been trying to figure out, I don't even know, his maxim, his saying. It is important to have a saying in life.
Yeah.
Here's what he comes up with. Every guest is family. You know who came up with this 15 years ago?
That'd be Fast and
Olive
Furious.
Garden. Olive
When
Garden.
you're here, your family.
Wait a second.
I thought
the
that
bear
was the
just
joke.
stole. I don't think it's a joke.
I thought someone was gonna go, dude, that already exists in Olive Garden.
That would have been funny.
What is Olive Gardens? When you're here, your family?
When you're here, your
When
family.
you're here, your family.
And he said, here, everyone is family.
For a second, I thought you were
said
asking
every
what
guest
Olive
is
Garden
family.
was, and I was gonna
Wow.
say, well, it's an Italian American food chain, endless breadsticks, Italian lessons in the bathroom. But I understand. Was that
Yeah.
offensive to your Italian heritage? I am very sorry if it was.
I think everyone loves Olive Garden.
Yeah, no.
Why don't you let the Italian speak for a second, Gabriel?
Jesus.
please.
right.
No, yeah, Italians, personally, as an Italian, I ride for Olive Garden.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
Jesse, that would have been funny if they hung a lantern on it and someone was like, sorry, Richie, Olive Garden came up with that already.
They
but
should
no.
have. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the episode we might talk about the most, which
Yeah.
is Bears, episode 7. Written by Joanna, Calo, directed by Christopher Storer. At Tiff's wedding, long-buried tensions resurface and begin to heal as the Bearzados and those orbiting them find unexpected solace in vulnerability, forgiveness, and a moment under the table.
and let me tell you guys, I loved this episode. I really did.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly
I
worked
think-
for me as well.
I texted Jesse. I said, this is the absolute best of the Bear and the worst of the Bear.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I can't wait to dive in
So
and discuss which is which.
this feels, I want to just start the conversation
Please.
about Bears by saying this is something that now we know, we expect. We've been conditioned to expect an episode like this per season.
The long episode.
The long episode,
With
the
the
cameo
extended
episode.
cast.
Yeah. And I was really excited for it when it came up. And I'm happy that they've conditioned us to that, and I'm happy that they delivered on that. And I guess let's get into...
I think we talked about this last year covering it, Jesse, that like the wedding should have been in last season.
Yeah.
And-
they were talking about the wedding the whole season.
A show that
Right.
does parties the best is Succession. When it gets all the people in the same room, everyone's bouncing off of each other. And besides the kitchen, which kind of feels like that to a smaller degree, like the Bear doesn't do that enough till you get these standalone episodes that feel big, but like you said, Jesse, you know they're coming, and I don't know if that takes away from them or gives them more power. It felt a little perfunctory to me to see
it
everyone.
spotlights it.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you go, okay, here it is. Like,
Yeah.
let's get ready.
The Francie Fack thing, my God.
I loved Francie and Sugar, the beef they had. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
I did not. Francie Fack is played by Brie Larson, and all season, all show, it's been a joke that Sugar has this nemesis. And like, I don't find this joke very funny.
Wait, was that a joke in previous seasons?
Yeah.
I totally erased that from my memory. And
Okay,
then
yeah, I don't remember.
when this
any-
season
The show
began-
likes to like pepper in legends of people.
Right.
Should they be able to bring them in and write a role for them as a
Right.
cameo?
No,
This was
the
one
show
of them.
knows what like a big family is like, and
Yeah, but it
they're
also
gonna-
knows what a stunt casting's like.
Totally
To be a little more cynical about it. And
Yes.
Christopher Storer has a long
I don't mind it. I
contact
don't mind a
list
stunt
of
casting.
stars.
When I see Bob Odenkirk come on that screen, I say, listen, give me
I
more.
mean, let's talk about the best of the episode. Potentially the best of the season was that Bob Odenkirk, Jeremy
Yeah.
Allen White conversation.
Agree.
For sure. That's what I mean when I'm saying that this had the best and worst of the Bear. That's the best of the Bear.
That
We haven't seen
conversation
Bob
was so
Odenkirk's
good.
character since season 2. That's something that bothered us last season, Jesse, is that like this guy was kind of set up maybe to be the big bad or this looming
Yeah.
presence, and then was nowhere to be found. Completely MIA. Lauren, you're with two of the biggest Better Call Saul fans this side of the Mississippi.
I met Bob Odenkirk, by the way.
How'd that go?
Last November, I went to a book
Wow.
signing. Him and his daughter did. His daughter Erin did a book signing at my local Barnes and Noble
Whoa.
for a little like children's book they made, and it was the best moment of my life.
Oh my
Guys,
God.
God.
I have a picture with him. But yeah, I
Cool.
love Better Call Saul. One of the best shows ever made. Yeah.
What about this scene worked so well for both of you?
I mean,
Well, I at first thought it was going to go in the total opposite direction.
Right.
yeah.
It's going to be antagonistic.
Yeah. And I think it was going in that direction for a bit until it didn't.
Well, that's what
I
great
thought-
actors and great writing can do. Like, it can set you up for something, and then through performance, they kind of talked through something. Like, they went through something together, which was really powerful.
And that's how you do it, because so much of this season and the tensions could just be solved in a single conversation like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, and it's carried on for seasons.
I think,
Jesse, what'd you think?
to your point about good writing and good acting, this scene could just be completely removed from the bear and plopped into a vacuum. And with Jeremy Allen White, Bob Odenkirk, and the writing, you would get everything. Like, they went on a full... I think sometimes the best screenwriting does this in a kind of, like, hidden, covert way. But they went on the full journey. They went on a full arc from start to finish.
Right.
You just have two great actors cooking with each other. It's so exciting to watch.
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
To your point, Lauren, like, throw fisticuffs down, but they get to a very empathetic place together. And by the time Bob Odenkirk says of Mikey that he told me he was proud of you, Carmy, I'm almost brought to tears.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to dislike this show so often and then love it so much too. And that's kind of my Bear experience with this season. Good pairings elsewhere. Sarah Paulson and Gillian Jacobs. John Mulaney's
John
back.
Mulaney.
Yeah.
Just
so good.
fucking...
John Mulaney.
He is so fucking funny, and it was fun to watch. Molly Gordon got some moments with him. Ayo had some moments
him and
with
Claire.
him. It's just funny to see people, like, acting with John Mulaney, because you know that they just want to be their funniest around him, probably.
I like that.
And Gabriel, let me... Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did he deliver your one laugh line of the season?
No. I'm not there yet.
All right. Well, I thought he had a great line.
What was the line?
He's talking about Carmy crashing on his couch, and he says, he smelled like Pledge Week at a Sicilian fraternity. Sweat, death, lemons, garlic, and the most cigarettes ever?
It's funny.
And I thought that was great.
Some other good pairings, Richie and Frank, Josh Hartnett and Ebon Moss-Bachrach.
Yeah.
I like this Sydney and Jamie Lee Curtis scene. This Ayo Jamie Lee Curtis moment.
It was nice.
Because in that moment, she kind of, the subtext is she needs a parent figure because she doesn't have a mother and her father's sick. And, Jamie Lee Curtis's character needs to be a mother because her kids don't let her in. And I just thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing really happens in this entire wedding if you look at it from a plot point of view. Frank and Richie having the Zoolander, I was whack. No, I was whack.
Yeah.
Jesse, did you see this sick Friends of Eddie Coyle poster in the bathroom?
I wrote it down. They had two posters. Did you
What
catch
was the other one? No.
So there was the Friends of Eddie Coyle poster, and then there was also a Postcards from the Edge poster.
Oh, yes. That was in Richie's apartment.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that was at the end. But yeah, the Friends of Eddie Coyle poster, I was like, okay.
That was great.
They know.
Okay, let's talk about the centerpiece of this episode, which is this under the table moment.
Yeah.
I wanted to be with them so bad.
I love this, and then I hated it.
Agreed.
This started off beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Richie's daughter, who's pretty young, Eva, she's down there scared to come out to do a stepfather-daughter dance
Really sweet.
at the wedding. So a few people are down there, and I forget who it is at first. I know it's Frank, it's Richie, it's Ava, it's Carmy, and it's Claire. And I said, Dianu, like, good enough, The scene was really powerful just as that. Then it got pretty stupid and was a nice moment to me, ruined by the too muchness.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, Sydney, come on down here.
But
Hey,
Lauren,
no.
this worked for you? Did you
Yeah,
enjoy
dude.
this scene?
Sorry.
Even as more and more characters came in.
Okay, yeah, I was like, okay, like, we're just gonna, like, get everybody here. Obviously, like, for the, I don't know.
For the Ellen DeGeneres selfie at the Oscars.
Yeah,
Stole my
yeah,
thunder.
that was
I knew
crazy.
you would.
But,
I knew you would. I knew you would
I
fucking
don't know.
say
I thought it was cute. Them like all going around. Like
It's Hallmark.
I can't complain. Sorry.
It's a greeting card,
I just think that, again, this "what are you afraid of" conversation gets a little bit heavy-handed. We go around the table and everyone gets to say what they're afraid of, and it just ultimately didn't work for me, even though I really wanted to believe. And the fucking Decemberist song, that's catnip for me. Like, it's so tender, it's so sweet, and in spite of myself, I did get taken for the ride. But ultimately, I think I landed on a little bit eye-rolly.
That's the bear, right? That's the
In
line.
hindsight, it's
walking
eye
this
rolly,
season.
but in the moment,
Totally.
I was like, I'm under their table with them. Like, I will say my fear right now as I'm sitting on this couch.
What is your
What
fear?
is your fear?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Let's go around. Come on.
So
Off the cuff.
personally, fear of failure. Yeah, okay. But also, I can't even say the word because I've actually had to go to therapy to get over this phobia. CENTIPEDES.
Oh.
Don't say it. Don't even say
I
it.
won't.
Don't.
My girlfriend killed
don't
one
say-
on our
No,
carpet
don't
this
say it.
morning with my notebook.
Don't even say
And
it.
if she listens to this, she's going to hear my ire. She slapped the centipede with the page of my notebook. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said it. I genuinely didn't mean to.
It's okay.
Fear of great shows, jumping the shark.
Oh, that's a scary one.
What's
I've never experienced a show like that, though.
my biggest fear? Really, I'm mining the recesses of my...
Mixed metaphors on a podcast.
Yeah. You know, I'm a fan of mixed metaphors on a podcast. If anyone loves a mixed metaphor, it's me. I'm not afraid of anything.
Great. All right, let's keep going.
I'm a strong soldier.
So this was a positive highlight episode in the season, would you guys say?
It was solid. It was good.
It made me believe in human love and connection.
I think I texted you both. How was an hour-long episode feeling like 2.5 hours? And I just am kind of conditioned for ensemble episodes, again, like I'm talking about Succession, to just things are happening constantly, and the plot is exciting, and you're worried about blow-ups, and this was quite the opposite. This was very lackadaisical, and I think that some people will spark to it for that exact reason, that it is just a hangout. I mean, they kind of false foot you because they say this is going to get crazy.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about fishes, right?
Yeah.
And then nothing happens. And I'm not needing Jamie Lee Curtis to go face first into the cake.
Right.
But, like...
Everyone is coming to Jesus, though. This season...
Everyone's growing up.
Everyone's growing up, and we're all getting in the little gym class tent, taking the selfie and smiling with each other because we're a big family. Like, that's kind of what the season wants. The season wants us to feel like these characters are going to be okay.
And Jamie Lee Curtis, like, goes to therapy now, so...
Yeah.
She would never go face first into a cake.
And she, like, went to the salon and fixed her hair a little bit, and she doesn't drink anymore, and that's all good. Can I ask a quick question before I move on, though?
Yep.
This is a serious question. Were either of you confused about the ending, literal ending moment of the episode, which was Richie alone?
Oh,
Like,
drinking the beer.
He's alone in his apartment. I get, of course, his ex-wife and Josh Hartnett and his kid. That's the marriage, and he's going on a big journey with that and coming to terms with all that. But, like, the way that the ending was shot, and for any listeners who don't remember, we, like, find Richie in his apartment drinking a Peroni. He gets a text from Teddy Fack of the selfie, and he's just kind of, like, smiling to himself. Lauren, you said it so perfectly earlier, because I think this encapsulates a lot of the season. It's a real girl who's going to be okay moment for Richie. It didn't feel in the vocabulary of the show to have, like, it linger on Richie alone at the end of that episode. I was very confused by that. Did it rub anyone else the wrong way, or am I just being picky?
A through line of the season was him, like, kind of being jealous of, like, Josh Hartnett's character. And, like, he maybe, like, came to terms with, like, you know what, like, I am a good dad to my daughter and she loves me. And, like...
Yeah.
And I think, like, that was...
Guy who is going to be okay.
Yeah.
All right, episode 8, Green, written by Joanna Calo and Christopher Storer, directed by Christopher Storer. Sydney turns down Shapiro's offer as tensions rise across the bear, with Tina pushing through her limits and the team questioning whether the restaurant is still worth saving. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but what was this dream sequence to start the episode?
You didn't like the Anna Garten cosplay?
I'm like, this ain't you,
it.
fam.
I
This
think it was
ain't
out
you.
of place, but I liked it.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a
Yeah.
fun way for Ayo to, like, you know, flex her
But then
real
again-
comedic chops.
I am an Ayo stand down.
I agree.
So do the Ina Garden cosplay, and
Nothing
Down
is
for
more the bear in a negative way than a character going to do something, then having cold feet and turning around and not doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what Marcus does here at this diner, as he sees his dad sitting there, but doesn't go into the coffee shop. And I'm just like, just go into the coffee shop, man.
I mean, why do they even like put those moments in?
I don't know.
Because it's just a time waster. Like, hey,
It's-
everybody, look, he's gonna go see his dad. Oh, but he doesn't.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Like, why can the side characters only do one thing per season?
Right.
Yes.
We talked about Tina. We talked about Marcus. Sweeps and the wine and his sommelier
Oh,
journey.
Fuck
Yeah.
me, dude. That was so patronizing to Sweeps. Like,
No,
and it
they
made
like even made him
no
an idiot
sense.
too.
Okay.
Like every scene like of him being a sommelier, he was like, I don't know the difference.
At one point, Alpana Singh, the sommelier restaurateur in Chicago, who has a cameo earlier in the season, she says, like, it's about the color. Then he holds up
A white and a red.
green bottles of wine. That's not the fucking color of the wine. He's not a baby. He knows that the wine is not the color of the bottle, and he goes, well, I can't tell the difference between these. No shit, dude. You know how to pour the fucking wine out.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you
why don't they
treating
just
him like
let
an
him
idiot?
become a sommelier mid-season and then have an expansion further than that?
Well, then one episode
because
later,
that
he's a
would-
fucking wine savant. That shit pissed me off. I love that Sweeps got more to do this season, but, like, it felt like they were like,
He
oh,
both
oh,
did
shit.
and didn't.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like they were like, shit, we have to give Sweeps more to do. Let's make
Yeah.
him the sommelier who doesn't really get it, and then all of a sudden, like, knows everything.
I would love the characters of the show to just orbit each other in a more balanced way.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that last season it got out of whack in the opposite way, where there was just too much expansion. But this is too centrally focused. I found basically every supporting character getting lost by the wayside.
I agree.
The end of this episode features what I think is one of the worst conversations in the season, which is Marcus and Luca talking about, I could not follow the thread of this conversation.
Oh,
Their
is this
lives
the
are a mess.
Yeah, and then
So the dishes are
Marcus's
a mess.
friend, the realtor, comes in, right?
And he's gay.
That was so awkward. Like, that was so weird. I was like,
I thought
what?
it was a passing comment, like the Facks and Carmen Christopher, whatever, being like, "Oh, you look good, dude." Like Teddy Fack telling John Mulaney he looks hot. We all agree John Mulaney looks hot.
Yeah.
So I thought the Carmen Christopher thing, as we referenced earlier, when he was like, "Your friend Luke is really hot," but then
I
he
didn't think he
comes
was.
in.
I didn't think he was gay.
No, I don't think he's gay necessarily. I just am like, why do we have him talking about how hot Luke is over and
just,
over?
That's his
It's not
Wait.
a funny
comedic
joke.
style.
But,
I
like,
don't
he was,
know.
like,
That's-
afraid of it, though.
I thought
Exactly.
that was funny because I think he's just intimidated that his best friend is getting moved in on by a new,
Oh,
cool, very
maybe.
handsome, tall
Just
man.
it's out of time with the rest of the season.
This episode had my only laugh where Richie says to Neil Fack, he gives him the signal, and then Neil Fack gives the
Oh,
chest
yeah.
rub. He's like, no, this is come here.
Yeah, that's
and then
funny.
Neil's like, this is I love you. And Richie says, there's no love in the workplace. And then he says, can we have the room? And then he goes on to tell Neil that he looks beautiful. A lot of men calling other men beautiful, and that's just really
a lot
nice.
of men calling other men beautiful this
that's
season.
I think
beautiful.
you're beautiful, Jesse.
I think you're beautiful, Gabriel.
Thanks.
You're looking
Nice.
very handsome on this podcast.
Let's talk about episode 9. We're almost at the end. Tornado, written by Joanna Calo and Christopher Storer, directed by Christopher Storer. As Donna Berzato reaches for redemption and Carmy steps back from ownership, the bear edges into a new chapter, one marked by big risks, fresh recognition, and a shifting sense of family.
It's so funny. You're reading these log lines, and I'm like, haven't you read that log line 3 times
I know.
already this episode?
I know. I know.
Blank makes a decision about blank and talks to blank.
Or,
Big
About rising
ramifications
tensions.
for the
or
restaurant.
blank wants to make a decision, tries to make a decision. Good episode. Like this episode.
I really liked it.
I really like the
Yeah.
Carmy and Donna moment in the suburbs.
I think
It was
Jamie Lee
nice.
gave, like, I definitely cried during this episode. Just the point where she breaks down, where she's like, I couldn't help him. Like, that part, like, really,
about Mike.
yeah.
Well, she takes out something she wrote that's clearly like a AA exercise.
Yeah.
And reads it to Carmy, and it's such a slow, intense scene that you just sit with, and it's close-ups on both actors.
Yeah.
And you guys are actors. Tell me, like, Jeremy Allen White's like hand tremor.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I mean,
You feel it, man.
He was
Yeah.
incredible in this scene.
the both of them were.
Yeah, I really loved it. And like I
Yep.
said, back to like the Sydney solo episode, like I think like this really showcased like how food is just a form of love. Like
Right.
he said, "Let me cook for you, mom," and like she just
I
like
love that
she
moment.
like surrendered. She said like, "Okay."
Well, she said, "Let me cook for you."
yeah,
Yeah.
and then he said no.
"I'm gonna make you something to eat,"
Yeah,
and I was tearing up.
yeah.
The dispelling of the needing to wash your chicken rumor was great. I love that.
What's
are
the
either
truth
of you
there?
Chicken washers?
Not
I'm a
rotisserie
vegetarian,
chicken
actually.
guy.
Oh, great. Okay. Well,
But I do
Let's
cook
move
chicken
on.
for other people.
let's just move on.
No, you could
No,
speak freely
I-
about the salmonella issue.
I think that what he
chicken.
says is exactly right. That if you wash your chicken, there's going to be salmonella all over your sink, which is the dirtiest part of your kitchen
That's so
anyway.
true.
So when people are like, you need to soak your chicken in a bath of Dawn dish soap in your sink.
Guys, Tina got the pasta course under 3 minutes.
Bravo.
Good
Hell
for
yeah.
Tina.
How did she
Ooh.
not know? Like that beeper is so loud though.
I know. They like send her off, and it's like, deet, 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 deet.
Infantilizing.
Totally.
And like she
infantilizing.
got it in like 259.58.
Gabriel,
I know what you're gonna bring up.
do you?
Yeah, I know that there is an incredible Jets joke in here.
Oh, no, that was a great joke. I want to talk about that scene. But do you remember how much we didn't like that stupid Eddie Vedder song last season?
Oh yeah, it's
That
back.
shit comes back. Sooner or later. I
I thought we had put it to bed.
thought we
No,
had to, but they
that's
brought
returned.
it back. They were
no,
like, you know
I-
what this episode needs? That dumbass Eddie Vedder song.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna bring up this Jets joke, which computer says Aaron Rodgers is an icon, and he drove the Jets into the ground.
Yeah. That must have hurt for you to hear.
It's okay.
It was
It's
like
shot-
so topical.
It's Schadenfreude. Brian Koppelman's a New Yorker, you know.
Brian
It hurts.
Koppelman and Rob Reiner's scene was so
More of
good.
them.
That was
Yeah.
like, that felt like, you know, I'm not a big MCU guy, but that felt like a post-credits MCU scene where like the two guys who you don't expect to talk, and they really match each other's freak. They know exactly.
Totally.
They know exactly what makes the other tick, and they're like sizing each other up.
We love septuagenarian New York Jews.
Absolutely.
I just scribbled things down that catch my eye, but gotta look for these all-white Cortezes that Carmy's wearing. Those were nice.
Yeah, those are
Wait,
nice.
I didn't notice those.
The Marcus thing moved me.
Let's talk about the episode's ending.
Mm-hmm.
So Sugar Bear gets a call. We don't know the content of it. She comes out to the kitchen and says that someone won Best Chef. Back to Top Chef. Like it's a real almost gotcha cut. Because
Yeah.
it starts on Carmy.
Carmy
kinda
looking at
pans to
Sid.
Sydney.
Totally.
And then, boom, it's Marcus.
I'm not even joking. It was like 1 a.m. I jumped from my couch. I said, have you seen the meme where it's like she thinks she's a part of the team and it's like the woman and she's like, yeah. That was me. I'll send you the video. So happy for
Good
Marcus.
for Marcus. Not much of a character arc this season. So it did feel like, okay, that's kind of out of nowhere. It's nice, but how could you not be taken by this when the Bruce Hornsby song plays and Marcus accepts his victory? Let's get to the finale, episode 10, Goodbye. Written and directed by Christopher Storer. As Carmy prepares to step away, deep-seated wounds come to the surface, prompting raw reckonings, reconciliations, and a handoff that could reshape the future of the bear. This was a stage play, right? This was just
Yes.
theater in one location in the back alley of the restaurant. Sydney was really grinding my gears to start this chat because she was not letting Carmy explain the agreement that's been in front of her for 2 months potentially and his rationale. But I think this gets
Right.
to an issue with the characters of the show, which is that this is how you do not communicate with other people.
Do you think maybe she was like, she felt stuck, like him leaving half of the restaurant ownership, or what was it, half of it or a third to her? Do you think like
Right.
that maybe made her feel like stuck, like great, now I have to stay here, like I can never move on?
I think that's right.
But also
I
just like Carmy could have like, I mean, I don't know.
explained his rationale.
Yeah, or like beforehand be like, hey, like I don't have a passion for this anymore and I'm leaving.
Right.
Or like should
and
I
could have just said it in a
like,
calm, rational way. And
Yeah.
she could have done her job and read this agreement that's been in front of her. So while I loved this episode and the acting and the writing, I was upset with how it began. It was just bumpy to start, but I thought it hit a pretty impressive flow and rhythm.
Agree.
And again, like when Ebon came in, he's just so phenomenal.
That like mountain goat ram moment between Carmy and
Yeah.
Richie, where they're like just so masculine energy butting
And Sid
heads.
was like, Richie, like don't.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
Carmy does take his first drag of a cigarette all season, and I know that drag was
I know it
tasting
hit
real good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When he said, Sid, you're everything I'll never be. Whoa. Low-key whoa. When he said, I have it written down, I believe in you more than I've ever believed in myself. You're the bear. Whoa. And then she was like, no, I'm not.
I think this episode benefited from not cross-cutting to a million other different things, and by keeping this really centrally
contained.
focused on these three characters. And was it hard to watch? For sure, but it felt like a really good play in which great actors are just duking it out. Back to that Bob Odenkirk scene, it's a little bit like that. There's an unpredictability. There is a what's going to happen next. How will this line of dialogue land on that person and vice versa? It was just a extremely emotional, dark journey through the heart where these characters were pulling out their guts and throwing them at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Very stagey, very theatrical. Is that a plus or a minus for it?
No, I thought it was great. I liked it a lot. I thought, if this is the series finale, I'm actually pretty satisfied with that as a series finale. I think characters said what they needed to say, and not in a way that they were signposting and calling attention to the fact that they were saying what they needed to say. The show, at the end of the day, is about these three central performances, and these three central performances, Jeremy Allen White, Ayo Edebiri, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach, were fucking phenomenal. They were in that perfect bear flow state in this episode, so I was down for it.
Yeah, but Lauren, back to what you said at the top of the episode, with food being the backdrop, like I could not feel that more than in this moment, because this is just a character drama with three people that happen to work at a restaurant. Yeah. And that's okay, but then that's kind of betraying so much else that this series has built up.
Established, yeah. Well,
so
that's long. I mean, I don't know if we're moving on, but if there is a season 5, will we be getting more of the inner workings of the bear? Or is it just going to be following Carmy and his journey of self-discovery and what comes after chefdom?
Yeah. Let's talk about it, because that's the end of season 4.
Also the same with Vincent Needle drop, and that's the ending song.
Nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
That wraps up season 4. Season 5 has not been announced. Do you guys want a season 5?
No.
I don't know. That's my family. I'm gonna miss them.
So yes, you want them back.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be the case where they just drag out a series for it to just not be good, which I think might be the case. I was
really wrestling with it last night. I thought to myself, well, yeah, I want season 5, and then I was like, I don't know, maybe not.
Where do you go with season 5? That's kind of my question.
How about a Jeremy Allen White Eat, Pray, Love adventure?
Well, that's what I was about to say. If we don't have,
I want to see him smile.
If we don't have Jeremy Allen White cooking at the Bear, and we're already feeling this misconnection to food, what's he gonna do? We can't have him go stage at Noma. He's already been through that part of his career.
He's gonna go into the software engineer career path.
Do you watch Industry, Lauren? He's gonna follow our boy Rob.
No, I don't.
To California, and they're gonna start an AI.
I think
startup.
He goes the different direction. He travels through Southeast Asia, rediscovers his love for food as he tastes his way through Thailand.
Oh.
Ends up as the head chef of the White Lotus Koh Samui.
Yes.
And we get this unprecedented HBO FX crossover event where Jeremy Allen White gets so annoyed by the hotel guests that he cooks up the pong pong seeds and wipes
Chris
out.
Store X Mike White collab.
Who says no? I don't know. I think I want more. There's the hinting at the Ibrahim franchising of the Bear. I think that could be fun and interesting.
But that would be more of a spin-off, I feel.
I'm
Yeah.
down
No,
for a
like I could
spinoff.
watch like Sid, Sugar, and Marcus like run the and Ebon, Richie run the play. Me being like, I actually really don't give a shit about Carmy. He could do whatever, but like,
I don't know. I don't
'cause
know.
That gets to my question I had, which is like not who won the season, but the best performance of the season. And this season brought it back to me that Jeremy Allen
Yes.
White is exceptional.
Absolutely.
yeah,
He's so miserable. Like, Carmy is such a tortured soul, but Jeremy Allen White carried. Like, he really, really carried. There were so many lingering shots of him thinking deep in thought, looking at what he's created, looking at what he's destroyed, and he just, like, he tells it all. He's such a fucking great actor, and I totally agree. It was Jeremy Allen White all the way.
Yeah. So I don't know what happens if you take him out of the show. Like, certainly the characters are going to be happier, but he is the nucleus in a way. And
what if they did like a Carmy focus episode and then like the bear focus episode and then Carmy and then like the restaurant the bear? Like I feel like that might
maybe there's room for experimentation.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I don't mean
You're
that.
done.
I'm not like,
No,
I'm fucking done with this. I'm just like, season
You're good.
3 was tough, as we know. Season 4, I think, was better by
Also
Okay.
tough.
tough, but a lot better than season 3. And
Like
so
good
I'm
tough. Like
yeah, sure. Satisfying for the viewer, like lots of great moments, amazing performances.
Like let's leave it on a high note.
Kinda let's leave it on a high note.
Yeah.
We'll
As
see.
high of a note as we can get. If you take the median of all 3 seasons, we're still ending up. We're falling on
Yeah.
in the upper quadrant of the graph.
low note for critics. Lowest note. 73% on Metacritic. The
Lower than
lowest
season 3?
score. Yep.
What was season 3? Whoa.
Don't have it up in front of me. I think an 85% this season on Rotten Tomatoes, 67% audience score. The critics who love it say that there were raw emotions, beautiful performances, that it was nuanced and touching. The haters say that it was stagnant, inert, that it lost the plot. What are you guys hearing anecdotally? Because I'm hearing crickets.
Crickets.
I don't know
Crickets as
anyone
well.
watching this show.
No wonder why I was asked to be on here because you couldn't find
Oh,
anybody else
stop
who
it. Oh, stop.
who
We are
voiced,
thrilled to
who
have
voiced
you.
that they were watching.
But yeah, do you have friends watching this? Because I seriously don't.
Everybody I know who watched it hasn't watched it yet.
Yeah. My
But
buddy
then
clowned
again-
me for watching it.
Wow.
I sent him the Friends of Eddie Coyle poster, and he was like, "You're watching The Bear."
Dude,
Oh,
that's
wow.
rough. That's sad because
I know.
think about the heat behind the show at its highest moments.
Yeah.
Like nothing was uniting America more than
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
That was Joe Biden's America,
Yeah.
and now who the fuck knows?
Favorite moment from the season for you guys?
Odenkirk and Jeremy Allen White at the wedding, I think, for me.
Yeah, that or Sid and Uncle Jimmy dancing at the wedding. I don't know. I thought it was
Nice.
sweet.
That was a good moment. They also, had a nice
Bob.
conversation moment too.
and- yeah.
I too had Bob Odenkirk
Yeah.
at the wedding.
I love you, Bob.
I
We
mean,
love
the way
so
like
much, Bob.
the way in the entire season, he was in 9 minutes, 10 minutes of it, and he was like, it was just so standout. Like he's so good. I love Bob Odenkirk.
Better Call Saul rewatch pod.
He is
When?
Chicago.
He really is Chicago. Slippin' Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Lauren, Jesse, this has been something.
This has been great.
I can't say it's a great season of TV, but it was a great conversation about TV.
I think
And-
if you've made it an hour and 45 into this podcast and you haven't watched The Bear, I think finish the season. You'll be
Yeah.
satisfied. I enjoyed it enough.
And
I don't know about
each episode-
enjoyment. I felt catharsis. You
Sure.
know, I felt
catharsis.
like-
I enjoyed a good 75% of it.
Yeah.
I think 25% slogged and got us nowhere.
and free therapy
Yes.
besides the Hulu subscription.
Whoa, because 90-second commercials. Hey, stop it.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you for having me, Gabriel.
watching and
Yes.
speeding through this season for this conversation.
Hell yeah.
And if no one watches The Bear, that's okay, but we did.
Hell yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.